So, welcome to the explanation video. Yeah, this thing over here, I realized I didn't even name it in the main video. So I basically called this the Foldable WorkPad or the Fold Pad or whatever. It's just a foldable WorkPad, and as in the main video stated, it was basically made because this was just a nuisance. This was supposed to be, or basically it was, just a simple little work thing that while I was doing something completely else, I just stumbled upon these leftover, well, linoleum, whatever, tiles, and so, you know what, this could make a really good work pad, or whatever, hobby pad, that it doesn't damage the table, because it didn't feel like having cardboard or something else, like a big, I don't know, rubberized mat or something. So I said, you know what, I'm gonna make my own. And the idea actually started in, well, the day we went for holidays, like for, what is it, on the 21st or something like 22nd, 21st, when me and my parents and my brother basically all went home for Christmas, because I live abroad. And I was just thinking, man, I want to figure out how to do something with the thing, because I was just bored, and I made mental notes and everything, sketched it on my phone, to the point that I don't even have it on the, well, on my notepad. And I just started, well, thinking of an idea, and within about 2 hours in the car ride, I came up with basically this and all the pros and cons of it. So I might even have some. I might just have lied. Yes, I actually have lied. I actually have something, because I had this in the car ride. Is it centered? Yeah, it's fine. So basically it started as an, well, foldable tablet work surface. And the design basically, well, hinged on the idea of how to do the hinges, because when using a work surface like this, it's always important. Let's just screw it. Let's just use the this. So I found it to be important to have a big work area, basically like this, that is X size, whatever. And where's my tape measure? and this is basically 45 by, well, let's just say 29.8, 30 centimeters. But the printer that I have is 256 by 256, so it's a bit smaller, which means that it's not going to be, well, what is it, 330? It's just going to be 256, but for tolerance, it's going to be slightly smaller at whatever, 24. Okay, cool, that is good. So a 24 by 24 centimeter work surface, that's not a problem, that's good. But what's the point of having a 24 centimeter work surface? It's basically just like, well, let's just mark it. It's basically just something like this by this. So exactly this. Good. So that is useless. That is technically very useless. So what I thought was, well, I can basically do extensions, and I can make it foldable. But the original idea was basically to make two 24 by 24 inch centimeter, well, wings. The problem is the center of the work surface is basically a seam, and a seam is no good, because if you work on a seam, the surface is never, well, flat enough. if you work in this area, that means that whatever paint or glue or something gets stuck here, there's a higher likelihood, higher chance of glue or something else getting stuck here. So I said, okay, so it's gonna have to be small, big center area, and it's either gonna have to have two big wings. Yeah, that's good, perfect, big wings. And then when you look at it, well, here it's already figured out. What if you have, let's say, two big wings? How do they fold? Does this fold up or does this fold down? Because that basically dictates how the hinge is gonna look. Is it gonna be small? Is it gonna be big? And that was the biggest issue to solve, which luckily I solved very fast. You have on this side, so basically you have this, this is of course an old one, the one with the center notch, with the center hinge, meaning you solve this problem by having multiples of them, and hinges, basically meaning these are gonna go inside and these are gonna basically flip. But now you have, again, the problem of a seam. So how do you remedy this? Well, where did I put the... So you remedy this by having two smaller ones and one big one. So basically, now you have two that go in and nothing else. And this gives you complete control over the design, because it's not going to bend the other way. Because you can't bend this the other way, because the other side, it's completely flat, because that's how it was designed. So, alternatively, I could have made these two very much larger and added extra hinges to here, which means they could fold in, and the top ones would be able to fold, well, up as well. Let's just get another one. We got a lot of prototypes. So basically, it would fold, well, kind of like this. But here's the other problem. This is the work surface. You want to protect this work surface at all time. You can replace the laminate or whatever vinyl on top of it, but what if something falls on it? What if this gets burned or something? This way it's all protected. It's not a problem to reprint this, but it's just the surface that you want flat, clean, or maintain this as much as possible, while the outside is thick and squishy and replaceable, made to be replaceable, so you always had to protect this. Of course, an alternative was, what if you just want a smaller pad and just have it be this size, and then when you want it, you could just, you know, flip it open. But again, then it would be the work surface that would be exposed. So realistically, this was the only possible solution. So, how did I go about doing this? Well, I had a few ideas for the hinges, maybe have it be in multiple parts, like what if the top and bottom joints join the cylinder or of sorts, basically just like, you know, and then squish it. That wasn't feasible. It was feasible, it just didn't work that well. So how about a half circle thing? I don't know, magnets where they slide in and they can't slide out? Not really, but where are they positioned? How does it really work? Well, it was basically all figured out along the way. Wow, this is crooked. So let's look at the prototypes. So this is a box plus something on the side. Well, how should I? You know what? I'm gonna have it off screen. I'm just gonna find the important ones. Okay, yeah, sure. Basically, I started with this. This was version 1 of the hinges. The very first version. Is it recording still? It's recording, good. So this is the very first version of the hinges, and it worked flawlessly. I basically had a theory, I just modeled it, went through my experience, backlog, whatever you want to call it, and I basically already made a perfect hinge. But it was very loose. I said, okay, it doesn't matter, it works, it's solid, like it's a bit movie, but you know, this is cool. Let's fix it. So I perfected the hinge on print number 2. It doesn't move, I changed the grip design. It's basically, it doesn't jiggle, it's just flat. Like, that was unbelievable. So when that was done, I was thinking, you know, this is going to be very fat. This is going to be thick. So, because when you're working on a mat like this, you want it to be as thin as possible, because when you have your hands here, you kind of don't want to rub on anything. And, well, just take an old print here, for example. That's why this has this surface here, because when you put your hands up, it might be a little bit of elevation, but it's not that much. You know, it's still a smooth and gradual transition. So I said, you know what? This is too thick. This hinge is as thick and thicker than the entirety of this thing. Like, just half of it is about the size of the hinge. So I said, you know what? It's time to re-evaluate, rethink it. But, you know, I'll figure it out. The hinge probably can't be any smaller, right? Like, that would be stupid. It's not gonna work. Print 1, it worked. Well, it might not be exactly this one, but it worked. Is it? It's one of these. It basically, all it was just a little too big and a little too tight, but I printed it in, I think, 75% size. Fantastic. And 50% size. Like, it worked. It already worked. Like, this was new to me. So I thought, okay, I have the size, so now I gotta figure out how I'm gonna design the top, the bottom. How's it gonna work? Well, let's find it. Or better yet, let's just print it. It works. It worked. It's solid. Like, I'm not putting a lot of force on it, but it's enough to make it jiggle and wiggle and whatever. And it's not just gonna break on first contact. Like, I could break this if I wanted to, if I was jiggling like this, but if I just twist it the other way, it can withstand 3 kilos going the other way. So this is actually really tough, like way tougher than I thought. So, okay, fine. What if I make it slightly better? Okay, I guess this is the old one. Scratch it. Let's just try something. And of course I did a few versions of whatever. And this is the first actual prototype that worked exactly as intended, and you can basically see it already has basically all of the features. And is this in frame even? Yes, it is. That's beautiful. It basically has all the features. It has the hinges here. It has the, well, the what is it called? Not the funnel. The grooves for where you put the laminate, or not laminate. We put the vinyl on and then basically just cut it down the line. This was a thing done on day 3. So the project was, well, basically advancing very rapidly. And oh, I guess you can stay here. So then I decided, you know what, I like this so much, I'm gonna keep it, and it's gonna be the reference. And then I just worked on it more. And already by the next one you could see that I figured out how to make it nicer, how to integrate like the channel here, like even this design notch stayed the same. And basically from there, I'm like, okay, let's put a measuring thing on the bottom of it. Fine, this works. There were a few versions of the measuring thing and even the sides. So let's just remove this. So this is basically the final version already with no change. Fine, they're irrelevant. Let's put them here. This is also here. Yeah. So this version, I still had the measuring scale on the side maximized, and basically it will scale to the point of, well, if this is 24 centimeters, measuring tape, 24 centimeters exactly, minus 1 millimeter for shrinkage. The problem became when you put the vinyl on top of it and basically cut it, you couldn't really see where the line was, and you were supposed to like put the thing on top here. So you couldn't really see it. So I made the decision to move it 5 millimeters more forward so that basically you could, I don't know, let's just take this. You don't have to second guess yourself, oh, where is the whatever point. You could just put it anywhere on the thing. It says here, this is the line, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. So this is 10 centimeters and, I don't know, a few millimeters and change. And already it solved a problem of the scale. So this, well, I know this is 22 centimeters now. Great. And then I was starting to think, well, how do I make the bottom part? Well, let's just look at this one. So there is a project that I've been working for the last year and a half, and I basically just lifted this top part idea, bottom part idea from it, just because it worked perfect. And what this does is basically it gives you grooves and space to put in a knob or whatever attack. And I basically designed a small square shape that you can just, tack on to this. And the idea was that you could customize it to your heart's content. You could just print, I don't know how many are there, like 1,000 of these, and use it as a, well, not a pegboard, but the opposite, a pegboard, and just make a design and shape into it and almost make it like a kid's plaything. But it's possible, but I decided no. So I went, how big can I make it? Well, of course, I also made like these various shapes and sizes, and then I made this with, as you can see, it's already difficult to take apart, just like a mesh to connect everything, and it worked basically everywhere. So why not make it have these nibs, knobs, whatever, and just a flat bottom? And yeah, it works. It's not perfect, but it actually works. And then the follow-up problem was, get back on there. The follow-up problem was, how do I get the plastic, this here, to the side? But if I do, I'm going to have to glue it so it doesn't bend, over. So I made a few tests with this, and it worked well. Like, okay, this probably isn't the right one for it. It worked well, but again, you actually couldn't, because I beveled or chamfered the edges. Over time, it probably could, but I said, you know what, this actually works really well. Like, it just doesn't give up. Okay. And when I did that, I thought, oh, what if I just make a cut and then just add more of these grooves here? So basically, this is, I guess, later design. Well, this is where all of these things are. And I just went around, so it had much more support, much more strength as here. So this is technically the weak part. You can just, kind of take it off. But whenever you're using it, you don't see it. And you can't really just take this off. Like, you can accidentally take it off, but not nearly as easy as one would think. Is there anything else? Yeah, it was basically a lot of these rubber things that I had to figure out how to shape and size them in the end, it's not really noticeable, but I basically took, what is it, 0.2 or 0.4 of a millimeter to give it a little bit of a, you know, paper, just so it slides in easier, and it's just as strong. Now, oh, here's another one. Here I had like even half notches, like if this is a centimeter, half is a millimeter, 5 millimeters, and this is 2.5. You don't need this, it's fine, but it just, you know, muddies up the look, the clean design, the simplicity of the print, because each, like these individual parts are like what, 4-hour prints, and this is like an 8-hour. But these parts, like the rubber parts, what is it? I might be talking out of my ass, I think 6 or 7 hours, and the big one is 14 hours. So it takes a lot of time to print. Excuse me, dry air. And then the last piece of the puzzle was basically how and where do I fit the magnets, because you want this to hold. You don't want it just like to be flapping around. Like, you can still open it if you want it, but you're gonna intentionally open it, but you're not gonna be like whizzing it around like So where to put the magnets? Ideally, let me position myself. Ideally, you want to, I don't know, put them here along the line. That's all good, that's perfect. I even made a test, like you could fit a magnet along these lines, perfect. Oh wait, no, this is in here and not here. There still is enough space, but that didn't work. That didn't work. Or at least, well, it does work, it would work. So when you do it like this, they'll basically be very close to each other and just like, you know, stick. My problem was, not a problem. What if it was, well, too strong? Well, ideally, burp. Well, ideally, I said, well, I already have these notches, which part of the design, I intentionally made them this shape. So not only is this enough to put your hand on it and not be a burden, it's also the top and the bottom. You can open it anywhere you want. Okay, good. So where do I put the magnets? Well, at the end, I chose along the spine. Why? Well, the simplest and easiest and, well, best answer is you don't want interference in the middle. That's basically it. If I took a tool, or if I'm doing something with magnets, D&D, or whatever thing that I need to, there is a polarity in the magnets. So even if it's like weak or strong magnets, there is a polarity, and if I put a metal tool, it would attach to it. If I had magnets that I needed to attach to something else, I don't want the interference of polarities being on the main part of my workspace. So I said, you know what? I'm gonna put them at the edge. As you can see, the tool is already holding, and when I got the idea, it was basically, well, straight up lucky. Not when placing it, I thought about it, but this is the perfect area to have your metal tools. You know where the magnets are. They're all the same polarity. Like, if I just randomly put in magnets, it would be an issue. But since they're all in the same direction, it basically makes it easy to put a magnet here, and work with the polarity, or, well, yeah, you can't have mistakes. It would be nicer if it's on the edge here, but this gives you more than enough space to work. Or at least that's what I'm gonna figure out when I'm going through it, if I made a mistake or not. So, okay, everything is good. So this is it, this is done. No, actually, the bottom portion was the hardest part. Let me just take some of my old things. Ooh. Let's just leave these leftovers on the side. Oh no, one left, one fell, one escaped. Had to refresh the memory card. So I got... I'm losing so much. So let's move this away a bit. So these are all the final prints. Final, when I figured everything out, I said, okay, I'm done. I am so done, I don't need anything more. This is the final. Where did these keep coming from? The final prints, because, well, they took long and I'm running out of filaments. So I said, you know what, I'm gonna make it count. I don't even know which one is which, but basically, oh yeah, you can see the design. Ah, okay, that's perfect, that's perfect. That is perfect. And I found another one. So let's see. What is this? This is very much perfect, as you can see. The problem is, this here failed. This is on the far edge, and I said, okay, fine, I guess it failed, but the design and construction is perfect. So I'm just gonna let it print to check for other issues, failures. There weren't any, so I said, okay, fine, this is perfect. It did perfectly. It just, I didn't clean the build plate properly, so I said, okay, good. Then I printed it, and it works fine. It's perfect. So what's wrong? I was actually asking myself that when I'm actually asking myself that right now. But I think at this point, since I was basically done, it was fatigue, and I thought, you know what? Let's print another one of these. Okay, clearly it works. And then I printed another one, and it failed. It failed somewhere in the middle. So I'm like, okay, so that's a clean plate, and if a clean plate, it's slightly dirty. If you just let it print and it fails, that's a bad sign. So I had to improve it. So I made, well, let's just leave it here. Yeah. So basically I made a pattern. I made a pleasing pattern, like aesthetically cool and everything. And it worked. It worked for this thing. It completely worked. It was totally fine. I was like, yeah, now I'm gonna print it again. Except it didn't work when I did the big one. It failed on the edge. So it means when you're cleaning the plate and you, well, hold it on the edge, there's a lot of variables, or at least enough room for failure. So I said, that's unacceptable. And I had to fix it. So that was tough because I was already sure that, okay, fine, I'm not gonna open a new batch of filament. In the end, I had to. And I had 2 more kilos, well, including the new one, 3 kilos to work with. I said, okay, this is about 100 something grams, the big one's is 200 something. So I had a limited amount of things that I could test around. Also, it's not only that the big one failed on the edges, of course I made them thicker, it also, this one failed on the sides, because these are thick, these are much thinner. So I said, well, something has to be done about it. So I said, okay, let's fix that as well. Let's see, which one of these bastards? What's the difference between you two? Ah, okay. Yes. So, yeah. So this one, when I saw it, I was like, man, that's perfect. But in the beginning of the print, I noticed it's lifting up in the corner. The corner was an issue with the big prints, like always. Like, okay, fine, it's not on this side, it's not here, it is on the corner. So the corner was lifting, but I said, you know what, let's leave it and see how it does. It might be good. It's the 1%, like, yeah, fuck it, it's just a sacrifice that's gonna have to be made. And when it's done printing, I said, you know what, it's not good, I don't accept it. And I said, okay, I gotta clean the plate again just to see that it is the plate and not the design. That was 3 days ago. So I did it, I cleaned the plate. Everything is nice, it's perfect. And then I noticed, what's with the things? What's with the fringing on the edges? Like, what is this? What is this? Because when you put on the, well, this is an old one, on top of it, it should snap in perfectly. There should be no gaps, no issues, no cutting, no anything. And it didn't fit. Like, there was like a small gap of 0.5 millimeter, and I actually thought, like, you know what, you're gonna have to clean this a little bit. What am I, stupid? No, I'm not cleaning this. If somebody told me I made a print and I have to clean this, that's just lazy. At that point, you start ignoring 99% of the work, time, design, and effort that went into this, and you see this oversight as an acceptable margin of error. Well, that's not good. So, what was the solution? I think it was actually on this one. No. Well, let's just take the... Let's just take the the final print. I had extra magnets. So the final solution, I just plot them on. The final solution is basically tell the printer to print at a 9-degree angle. So basically all the bridges and everything just in one direction, and it's clean. You could do it this direction or that direction, but it's gonna print it clean. And yeah. Oh, I guess I glossed over it, but let's just take this one because it's easy. The redesign. Come here. So, second last design on this one. I had a few failed prints of this one. I cleaned the plate, it printed fine twice. I was like, okay, it's good, it's working. And this is what gave me the idea for the solution for this. So these things are all printing in the same direction basically, and that was on automatic. So when I was doing this one, basically with a failed one, I said, okay, I gotta fix this. So that was a blessing in disguise. But I came up with this design. This is absurd. So the design for the bottom part, let's take these three versions. Let's do it like this, so it's nice and even. Oh, beautiful. So the idea behind this design is whenever you're printing plain thing, whenever you're printing a big plate, I cannot speak, you kind of want to design it in a way that it has the least amount of surface touching the build plate. Because if it's in the corner where the heating is not exact, or maybe you like put a thumb on it and now it's greasy, or maybe the print plate is damaged, and of course user error, you want to design something with the least amount of contact and enough airflow. And if that's good, basically when it's done drying, well, you don't just rip it off the plate, you let it set and dry. Basically it needs air. It needs enough space to breathe. So the original design was these things everywhere, which means there's very little contact area and air gets to flow through it. But because there's little contact area, if there's a small error in the build plate or a grease spot, it's gonna fail. Then we came to this, because I wanted a nice looking design and I wanted practical. Like, you don't just print something, use it, you also enjoy the process. Like anything Apple does outside and inside, it's gotta look good, otherwise it's kind of a compromise, but it's something only you know. It doesn't matter, but I know. And I did it for myself. So for this design, I thought, you know what? I need something that is a little bit thicker, so I increased the size of this, and I made a pattern, so it's like an L shape that always there are at least two or three points touching, except on the edges. That's why these are, let's say, a little bit longer. Feels like it. And it always touches something. So, okay, great, I got this. I think it also failed somewhere here, like a stupid fail, doesn't matter. It still failed, it wasn't 100%. So I said, you know what, screw it, we're going completely mathematical and engineered the fuck out of it. So went with this approach. So basically you have these straight lines, the main supports, and the small channels. So basically, wherever air goes in these channels, originally they were just like this, they all flow in this direction. But if you have these straight lines, then you come to the problem of, again, you have the straight lines, you have consistent contact. So I said, okay, we gotta break this. But in the beginning, it was all connected, so there was no air flowing. So I said, okay, fine, we're gonna have these air pockets, air channels here, so no air is trapped, and it just goes continuous. Like here they go to the side, here's, anyway, here. Even on the front, like the air goes in here and around. Here, it's just this area, it's these three areas. And I specifically designed the corners this way because, of course, on the big one, the corners are gonna fail. So I added extra support to this. And when I went to see how it printed, it actually, well, because it's printing, because the previous one was, well, going up this way. I intentionally thought about the design, and this way the print head basically moved in this direction. Like it moved like this and not like this. That was complete luck, but it was enough to make me feel like, yes, it's never gonna print it the wrong way or start here. It's gonna go like this. And this basically solved all my issues. So, yeah. This is the WorkPad. I'm just gonna call it the WorkPad because that's the name of the file that I have, and that's what I'm gonna call it because I'm not gonna call it something snappy, nifty, or whatever. It's the Foldable WorkPad. But if I come up with a better name, whatever, it's probably gonna be a version 2 or something. And yeah, and shockingly, I had to look this up, like how long did it take me to design this? I was thinking, oh, this is really bleed. I thought it took me about a month to do it. And then I looked at a file, it said basically on January 1st at 6 in the afternoon is when I made the file, the master file, and it's the 18th today, which is when I'm recording this video. But it was the 15th or the 14th that I finished. So basically this was a 2-week sprint of a project, and I didn't even know it. But I am very happy with this. It is something that I really wanted. I know other people that want it. Like it's even good as a D&D like cover all thing. Like it can be manipulated, designed to something else. And yeah. Thank you for watching. Thank you for listening to me ramble. And I hope it is as useful to you as it is to me. Take care now. Bye bye then.